we are going to talk about Arizona mule deer hunting, the general rifle tag that happens all across the state, basically within a couple weeks. Not your high-end tags, not your Arizona strip tags, not your kaibab tags, not tags that take a ton of points. We're talking about mule deer tags that take approximately 5 points or less all across the rest of the state. So let's first get the expectations set in there. There is a potential. It's kind of like elk hunting, okay? When you go to some of these and you hunt mule deer in some of these quote-unquote lesser areas, there's still an opportunity to shoot a big 180 type mule deer or bigger. But typically that's not going to happen. That's not what you're going to see. That's not what you should expect to harvest unless you're hunting in the kaibab Arizona strip. Here's what happens. You have 500 tags. You have 600 tags. You have 700 tags. You have a full moon. You have very, very small window to find these big bucks. Because big bucks are just like humans. When they get old, they don't move a lot. They're sitting on, they'd rather be in their lazy boy chair watching reruns of Cops, just like an old timer would. And they hang out. They lay around a lot, where you see these younger bucks that are 2 and 3 years old. They're always up feeding. They're always up doing this. It's because they're younger. These bigger bucks are older. They've got arthritis in their hip. They don't hear so good. They are very strategic in the times that they are up and getting water and feeding to allow them to survive, because they've had these habits that have allowed them to survive and be a big buck. So to shoot those big bucks on these general rifle tags, which happen at the end of October. So typically they happen the last couple days of October. Last weekend in October is when general rifle mule deer hunting opens up across Arizona. Okay. There are some really good units just for shooting a good mule deer. And I consider a good mule deer is like a 145 to a 165. That's a good mule deer. Anything bigger than that's a great mule deer. 170, 180, that's a really, really good mule deer. It doesn't take very many points to draw. There's going to be a lot of hunting pressure. I don't care what unit that I can name. Every single unit, go down the line. There are 1,000 rifle tags in Unit 7. There are 600 tags in Unit 8. There are 500, 700, 700, 300, 400, 500. Those are a lot of tags. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of friends involved hunting. There's a lot of people partying. There is a lot of quad and ATV dust. There are a lot of Bud Light cans left on the dirt roads. There are a lot of shots that are not hitting any animals. There are a lot of deer getting pushed around. So that's kind of what incorporates the challenge. Is not only it's limited deer movement, it's warmer weather. Typically it's in or around a full moon, but you also have hunting pressure. So if you're willing to do the homework, if you're willing to go into areas and scout, if you're willing to hike more than the next guy, if you're willing to shoot farther or be in a position where you have to shoot farther because the deer just live in crazier areas, it's a hunt that I would consider. If you don't have many points, if you don't have many deer points in Arizona, you want to hunt mule deer, you're not obsessed with getting a 180 plus deer, maybe your first hunt, and maybe you just want to try mule deer hunting out, and you don't really want to go mountain hunting in Wyoming, or whatever the case may be, Arizona is a great place to kind of cut your teeth on Western style hunting. You're going to need good optics. You're going to need a tripod for your spotting scope or your binos. You're going to need a rifle that shoots very accurately at 300 to 500 yards. You are going to need to put in the work. You need to have early mornings. You're going to need to do a little bit of scouting. All these things can help you in anywhere that you hunt. When you draw a Nevada tag, you draw a Utah tag, you draw a Wyoming tag, when you draw an Idaho tag, which most of them are now draw, Montana, it'll help you hunt other areas. And it's not going to be a huge cost if you want to do it yourself. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of easy camping. The weather is really mild in Arizona, all across the state in late October. It's very mild. You don't need thick canvas wall tents. You don't need wood burning stoves. You don't need that. They are nicer in certain areas, especially in northern Arizona along the Mogollon Rim, or, you know, in the Coconino Kaibab National Forest. Yeah, it's going to be colder. Unit 8, Unit 7, which is up there, Unit 10. I mean, yeah, but you're not worried about getting dumped 2 foot of snow. So I strongly recommend, if you're in that, you know, lower points, or maybe it's your first time applying, hey, try to draw one of these tags. What tag should you draw? What unit? I'm going to do this by section of the state. So you have like everything north of Phoenix. Okay. So you have 6A. I'm not talking about West Phoenix either. Like, let's forget about West Phoenix for a second. Let's forget about 41, 40, 39. That's a whole different beast out there. It's can be great muzzleloader hunting for trophy bucks during the muzzleloader tag. Let's just talk North Phoenix, like 6A, 20B, 20C, 20A, 17B, 17A, 18B, 18B, 18A, 19B, 19A, and then the Mogollon Rim. So when you leave Phoenix and you go north, you hit the Mogollon Rim. Basically, it starts in 20, Unit 21, and runs east along to the New Mexico border. So you have all those units. You have 21, 22, 23, 27, and then Unit 1, and then all the other really heavily forested units. I'm doing this because this is where they are in the state. You know, this is Phoenix, and all those units right there, like 4A, 4B, 3A, 3C, 5B, 5A, all those ones heavily forested. Let's talk mule deer specific. Let's go. If I was to apply for a tag, and I'm, say, a Phoenix resident or a Tucson resident, and I wanted to get out of the heat, I didn't want to hunt desert deer in October where it's 97 degrees, and I would go into a place that is very friendly for driving, friendly for camping. I would go into Unit 8. I would go into Unit 7 West. I would go into Unit 10. Unit 6A is it can be a harder unit to hunt. There are lots of good mule deer in there. It's just it's harder to hunt in some cases. It's really thick with junipers. 17A, 17B, 20A. So right there you have basically north of Phoenix, you have 6A, 20A, 17AB, 8, and 10. Unit 9, it can be a tough hunt. Let's get this out of the way. When I say it can be a tough hunt, all these units will be a tough hunt for a mule deer. They will be tough, but you'll get to see how the game is played. That's part of the point of going out hunting. You'll get to see what happens during these hunts. You'll get to see if there's another deer hanging in a camp. You're going to drive by I'm not going to say 100 camps, depending on where you're camped at, but you'll drive by a dozen camps. You'll see how many people actually shoot deer. You'll see what kind of deer are actually shot. Most of these are not branch antler deer. A lot of people will be whacking spikes and forks. Why? Because they're hanging out with the big giant group of does that are very easily seen, while the bigger bucks are hiding by themselves in places that they're not going to move very much. They're not going to be seen very easily, and you're going to need to make a good shot. Okay, so basically the broad stroke of this is go north of Phoenix in an area where there's a lot of public land, because I listed the areas, the units that have a lot of public land. And nice to camp, nice to see, lots of mule deer. A good just overall hunt. Whether you shoot a giant buck or not, you're going to have a nice hunt. It's going to be pretty good weather. You're going to be able to camp in the shade. You're going to have a good time with friends and family. 17A, 17B, 20A. I forgot to say 19A. 19A is cool. Mingus Mountain. 6A, Unit 8, Unit 10. 6B is kind of cool too. 7 West. All these areas, lots of public land except for 10, but you can still get on it. 10 is kind of like 9 and 10 are kind of like, I would only suggest those units for mule deer hunting in the general season for guys that have kind of been there or have an idea of it, because it can be a tougher hunt, a little bit more private land, you have to have it a little bit more dialed in. Not a ton of glassing in Unit 9. So, but just, you know, there's no one right answer, you know? I mean, it really is. It's not like, hey, there's just a really specific unit. As far as guide-wise goes, if you are looking for a guided hunt in some of those areas, what you need to do is you need to talk to the guide first. Don't try to draw a tag and then start calling around to random guides, because most guides will say, oh yeah, I draw that. I guide that tag. You call a random guy and you call him up and say, hey, I drew a unit 5A mule deer tag. You know, how can you do that? Do you guys do that? And they'll say, oh yeah, we do that all the time. Send your, I want half the hunt down, send it over here. You need to talk to the guides first, whether it's somebody you know or just getting a feel of the area and say, hey, this is my situation. I don't have a ton of bonus points. I want to get into the Arizona hunting game. Maybe I want to start out with a DIY hunting package, fully scouted, fully outfitted. Just get me in the right area. I want to know that I'm just doing the right thing in the right spot, and then we'll go from there. A lot of that stuff we offer that. I have some buddies that offer that same thing. You know, just getting guys in the right spots, scouting packages, outfitted packages. But it's all about getting everybody out to hunt and everybody having fun and enjoying Arizona hunting, because that's the reason why I am a guide and outfitter in Arizona. I love hunting Arizona. There's amazing public land opportunities. The draw is pretty darn good for if you just want to get out there and hunt. If you're really looking for a specific bigger buck, then, you know, you may need some help. You may want to hire a guide. If not, get out there, go do it, find a good camping spot. There's lots of public land. Do a little bit of scouting, do some homework, maybe talk to some people, maybe buy a scouting package, maybe buy an outfitted package, maybe buy a guide for 3 days, do a 3-day guided deal to kind of get you going in the right spot. A lot of options for you. These tags are really designed for the hunter that likes to be out there, likes to hunt. And you know what? If you do these hunts enough and you stick in the same units, say you hunt a couple units or you really like Unit 8. Well, don't try another. Get to know Unit 8. Get to know the habits. Get to know where the deer are. And pretty soon, every couple years, every couple times, I should say, that you draw that tag, you may shoot a nice buck. The odds are better if you hunt more in the right spots, potentially with the right guides or outfitters or buddies or family members or people that know, of shooting a really good deer. So it's all on how you look at it. You know, if you have 15, 20 points, you're not going to want to use them on a general tag that only takes maybe take no points to draw. As a resident, sometimes I'll take a couple points, but nothing too crazy, and you can do it every year, guys. So that is the north half explanation of mule deer hunting in Arizona, and I strongly encourage you guys to get out there and hunt and just try your hand at it and just see what it's all about. The southern half of Arizona is made up of strong desert, primarily desert country with a few sky islands in there, Chiricahua Mountains, Huachuca Mountains, which don't really hold a lot of mule deer anyway, so that doesn't really matter. There is the whole, basically west of Phoenix, south, is very, very low density mule deer with a lot of private / military proving grounds and Indian reservations. There are some giant bucks that get taken along the Arizona border, Unit 41, Unit 40, Unit 43. There are some giant bucks. It's a very difficult place to hunt, especially in the early season when it literally is 100 degrees. And these bucks are full tilt nocturnal. And unless you have bucks scouted, unless you are scouting and running cameras and knowing exactly where they are, that at the moment they slip up, you're ready with your rifle on that hill in that spot, and you've been waiting there for a week for them to make that mistake, the chance of you being successful and having a fun hunt are a lot lower than hunting north, just because of the weather standpoint. If you like the heat, no big deal. I like the heat. I don't mind the desert. But so that's just that Western Phoenix kind of, those units. Tucson and east of Tucson and all the Tucson areas and everything south of Phoenix, when you start getting into 37s, 37A, 37B, all that stuff down there, it is I mean, there's just a ton of people. There's a ton of pressure. Some really good bucks. I mean, there's some great bucks that come out of those areas. It's just really hard to glass, very flat, water-centric hunting. You will find a lot of people sitting on water during rifle deer hunts than you would in any other area in the state, in any other season. You will see guys hanging out at water with a rifle, which is totally understand it. That's some of the best ways to kill a big deer. Kill a deer, period. There is really good populations of deer down there. So unlike Western Phoenix, all the Tucson South stuff, like I just mentioned, 37, 36, 30, 27, 24, there's really, really good populations. When you get off the Mogollon Rim, 22, 21, 23, 27, really good populations of mule deer. And you shouldn't have any trouble finding deer. Again, if you don't like the heat, if you don't like a grind type hunt, it's not the hunt for you. If you want to try it, do it. If you live locally and you can kind of day hunt or maybe just go on weekends or whatever, that's a perfect area for you. Just kind of depends, guys. It's one of those things where have an idea before you try to draw this tag. When you go into the Arizona application, draw. Have an idea of a game plan, whether you've been talking to a guide or an outfitter or buddies, family members, or other resources that help you have an idea before you try to draw a tag. Because the last thing you want to do, guys, is this. You don't want to draw a tag that you didn't research, that you have no idea what to do, and then all of a sudden a tag shows up, and now you're scrambling. Now, not only you could have potentially wasted your points, you're wasting your bonus points, but you've spent money on a tag. You don't know where to go, what to do. It's kind of all of a sudden. And now, instead of having a plan, you don't have anywhere to go. And now you're scrambling, calling, doing this. And the chance of you having a good hunt are very, very slim. I've done that myself. I'm speaking from experience where I say, hey, I've never looked at that part of the state. Let's go try to hunt there. Let's try to draw a tag. And I draw the tag. And then I'm like, oh, man, I don't even know where I'm going. I only have a weekend to hunt. Total waste of time. I should have never have drawn this tag. I shouldn't have paid money for this tag. I shouldn't have wasted my bonus points. It's not something that you can just go and flippantly be successful. You got to have a plan to be successful in Arizona. You got to have the right setup, the right gear, the right people with you, whether, like I said, whether it's friends, family, or a guide outfitter to help you out and make sure that you have a good experience hunting and want to come back and do it again. What we do a lot for our mule deer hunters is, we do a lot of scouting beforehand. So we know, hey, we've kind of got a buck in mind typically. And that goes with a lot of guides across the state. I mean, they will spend time scouting. And so they already have bucks and deer in areas in mind for you to come out and hunt and be successful. That being said, it's not a walk in the park. Hunting Arizona, you have to have a lot of things right. You've got to be physically fit. You've got to shoot pretty darn far, and you've just got to be ready, which is not like shooting a deer out of an alfalfa field in Colorado or Wyoming or whatever these areas. This is public land hunting. You've got to have it dialed in, whether you're going guided, unguided, semi-guided, DIY, solo hunter, outfitted, scouted, whatever it is. You got to have it dialed in, and when you are successful, be very proud and appreciative of that, because sometimes beginner's luck happens. Guys get really successful early. They shoot this giant buck, and then they realize after hunting the same unit 3 or 4 times later, they're like, wow, that was really, really awesome experience, because I've yet to have that experience again, because hunting is really, really tough in Arizona. Just overall, comparatively speaking, versus just deer densities and the amount of optics and preparation that it requires to be successful, it is very hard. You can't just go out and party and then expect to see a deer off the side of the road. So all that being said, guys, I strongly suggest, this whole video was about Arizona mule deer hunting, the general tags, the tags that don't take very many bonus points, if any, to draw, but you can still hunt mule deer. You can still shoot potentially a really, really good mule deer. Have a good time. Understand the Western hunting. Understand how Arizona works. Get in the draw. Have a good time. Realize that, you know, hunting is about having fun. It's about making memories. It's about having the experience, whether you shoot a big deer or not. It's about understanding the potential. When you go out hunting, every time you learn something, you realize some equipment that would have made you, help you be more successful. All these things. If you want a guide, you can hit me up on the link below. If you want an outfitted scouted package, same thing, hit me up. If you want to hunt an area that we don't specialize in, guys, I got lots of friends. I can help you. I can send you in the right direction. I don't get anything from it. I just want to be an educator and help people be successful all across the board. And it's just a fun time. It's a fun experience. I love seeing people be successful, whether they're being guided by us or they're off on their own or they're being guided by somebody else. I just know the excitement that happens when that big deer finally hits the dirt and you grab those antlers. It's just a fun thing, guys. And I'm just really in this for everybody. I like seeing people be successful, and it encourages everyone else to get out there and have fun and get all the gear and chase these deer around. So hit me up if you have any questions of the draw. It is coming up. You have about a month, but just let me know if you got any questions, unit specific questions. I'm not going to deep dive into units quite as much this time like I did for elk. It's because it's kind of a general tag, and it kind of spans across a lot of people's needs. There's not a huge difference in certain units. It's more of regions: north of Phoenix, west of Phoenix, south, east, and south of Tucson units. They're all pretty much in the same ballpark as far as points needed, as far as generic, what you would expect as far as trophy quality, hunters, all that kind of stuff. So hit me up if you've got unit specific questions. If you want draw advice, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Don't care if you ever want to pay me for a guided service, outfitted service, scouting package. Don't care. Hit me up. I will be gone in Alaska for the next couple weeks. I'm going to be guiding coastal brown bear, so hopefully I'll be keeping you guys updated on that, and hopefully have some videos and some pictures on my social media here in a couple weeks. So anyway, good luck this year, guys. I hope you all get drawn for Arizona. I hope you all are successful. And like I said, you know where to find me. Hit me up in the links below. God bless. We'll talk to you later.